Today we're going to have a fun topic. We're going to talk about prophetic dreams. This is the most fun part about dreaming with God and understanding dreams and dream interpretation is when He gives you a heads up something is coming. So I'm going to talk about some personal prophetic messages God has given me to give me a heads up, but then also some national level dreams that have come to pass or are coming to pass. Okay. All right. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the last few weeks. They have been challenging, to say the least, for me. About a week and a half ago, God gave me 3 or 4 dreams in one night about me trying to sleep and not being able to get that restful sleep because of the distractions around me. Things were trying to keep me up. Things were trying to wake me up. And all I kept saying in those dreams were, I want to sleep. Now, if God gives you the same theme of a dream or the same message and He gives it to you twice, that means it's going to happen. If He gives it to you 3 times, that means it's going to happen and happen now. It's going to happen pretty quickly. So when you get those repetitive messages, just be aware that it's going to happen fast. So with 3 or 4 dreams and that one single night about me wanting to sleep, I'm like, okay, this is not a great message. First of all, I'm not looking forward to this. But I'm going to be seeing this pretty soon. So I just kind of filed that in the back of my memory. Then, like the next day, I had a dream where a certain phrase was repeated 3 times. It was, you're going to be knocked down, but not knocked out. Great. Not another wonderful message, right? So, many of you, when I was doing the video about talking about how I was called to the hospital to pray over somebody, and I was hoping for healing, but it was more of an ushering into the next life. At that time, I was still puzzling on that phrase. I didn't know if it related to me. I didn't know what God was saying. And as I was doing that video, God said, you will be knocked down, but you won't be knocked out. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just figured this out. Like God just spoke in my spirit and told me, this is what I'm talking about. You feel like you've been punched in the face, but you're going to get up and you're going to keep going. Then just a few nights ago, I had a dream where I had a house fire and 4 or 5 other friends of mine, their families also had house fires. And we all came together in the same place because we didn't have homes anymore. We all came together and we started nursing our wounds. And I said in the dream, and it stuck out, we lost some things, but we will just start with what we have. We'll just build upon with what we have now. And at that time we were nursing I was nursing one of my friend's wounds because he was badly burned, and I started taking people's coats and hats and hanging them up. And as I was chewing on this, God was saying to me, refining fire. You're going to go through a refining fire. Again, great, wonderful message. Looking forward to it, God. Thanks. You're going to go through a refining fire. And I'm going to remove that dross, and I'm going to provide a firmer foundation from which you will build upon. Because you don't need the other things. I don't want the other things involved. And you're going to hang up your mantle, usually coats, and coats are like your mantle, your spiritual mantle. Your hats are your mindset. And God had said, also armor of God, breastplate of righteousness, helmet of salvation. And He told me, you're going to hang those things up for a while as your body recovers. You're going to stop being a warrior for a minute. Don't fight me on this. I'm going to put you through some trials. Don't fight it like a warrior fights it. Let me get that dross off. And there will be a time where then you can pick up your armor of God again and go for it. And what's interesting is that the coats and the hats, they weren't singed, they weren't burned, didn't have soot on them, nothing. They were perfect condition. And he's saying, you know, nothing touches your armor. It's strong. But I don't want you to fight me on this. So that day, my family went through a refining fire with one of our children. And it was a potential dangerous situation, to say the least. And we're still going through that refining fire. God gave me this set of dreams just saying, you're in it for the long haul. Better hang things up for a minute and get ready to go through this refining fire. Go through some trials. But I am with you in it. Just like Ratchak, Meshach, and Abednego. It's a mouthful. I am in that fire with you. So get ready. So that being said, God is giving me this prophetic warning to be prepared and how he wants me to handle it. He doesn't want me to handle it like a warrior because that's what he has groomed me to be. He wants me to let him have his way with me right now, and it's going to be painful. That being said, you might not hear from me for a while because God is saying hang up things for a minute so I can deal with you. So if I go MIA, don't think God stopped talking to me. Don't think that God stopped giving me dreams. He just doesn't want me to focus on this and start unpacking dreams that are meant just for me or are not meant to be shared yet. Or he might just say, I want you to stop focusing on that right now. I just want you to focus on the events that are going to lay before you. So that being said, those are personal prophetic messages that God is giving me that is already starting to play out. But let's talk about some prophetic dreams that he gave me that are on more of a global scale. All right, this is fun. So if you remember, I kind of did a quick video on this, but I record all my dreams, and I have been recording my dreams since like April of last year. And as I was going through my dream interpretation class, I had to dig through my dreams. And I don't interpret most of my dreams, but for that class, I kind of had to get a bird's eye view of what each dream meant so I can find those themes. And in this document of like 200 dreams, no joke, I found one that had Amanda Grace in it with schnauzers in the background, and then it switched to Fauci with schnauzers in the background. And Amanda Grace is a modern day prophet. She's phenomenal. And she usually means like a prophetic announcement. When she's in my dreams, God is saying, I'm giving you a prophetic announcement. Not every time, but sometimes. And he was saying in this dream, I'm giving you a prophetic announcement about Fauci and dogs. And what came out right at that time, months after I had that dream, as I was going through my dreams, what had just come out was the scandal of Fauci abusing those beagle puppies for his research. So that was like one of the first times I go, oh my goodness, God has given me a prophetic dream. Not the very first, but some. That was definitely the first prophetic dream on a national scale. Then he gave me that dream about Christmas coming early. If you remember, I was with General Flynn, which kind of gives it a national feel. And we were going to a single mom's house and letting her know and celebrating because Christmas was coming early. We weren't going to wait for Christmas on this. Now, I held on to that for like a week or two because that is like a big, bold statement. You want to produce receipts when you say something like that. But I was listening to another prophet, and he said, God is telling me Christmas in November. Christmas in November. And I go, oh my goodness, God is telling me something very similar. He is saying Christmas is coming early. Now, we don't know. Is Christmas coming this November? Is Christmas coming early this year? Is it next year? Is it 3 years down the road? We don't know. So it's really important not to like say times because we just don't know. We don't know. So I try not to say this is what's going to happen because I don't want to put God in a box. I don't want to put a timestamp on it. So I just kind of waited and to see. But I said, this is what God's telling me. This is what God is telling this prophet. I don't know what this means. I think it's a national scale because of General Flynn in the stream. Let's see how this plays out. So right after Halloween, I started seeing Christmas trees pop up. I'm like, okay, this is kind of fun. God has given me a hint, but this is not a national scale. Then November came and went. And people just totally torched that prophet because they're like, nothing happened. At least not what they thought was going to happen happened. He's like, I don't know what happened. God told me Christmas in November. That's what I was told to tell you. That's what I told you. I don't know. Could be happening in the spirit. I don't know. And I'm like, I believe that prophet because God was telling me the same thing and he doesn't know me. And so I don't know. So I waited to see how it played out. About a week before Christmas, Dr. Malone said the O variant, if you believe in God, that variant is a Christmas gift. A week before Christmas. It came early. Why would he say that? Because it's very transmissible, but definitely not deadly, and a lot less severe than the other variants, if you believe in all of that. I won't go into that. And it will infect a lot more people faster, and they can get this really strong immunity. And so that's why he said, this is a Christmas gift. And he said it a week before Christmas. So I was sitting in bed yesterday and I'm thinking, okay, but this other prophet said Christmas in November. When did this variant come about? Guess what? I looked it up. It was in November. So God is definitely speaking prophetically to people and in their dreams. He's speaking it. So it's very interesting. It was definitely an early Christmas gift because people are saying this is the endemic. This is going to be the end of the pandemic because of the widespread immunity that's going to be occurring. All right, so then, if you remember really early on when I started just posting videos to Facebook, I hadn't even started putting them on YouTube yet, I don't think. But God was telling me that there was going to be a shortage of food. I was riding in a truck. I was not driving, but I was riding in a truck. And I was eating Chex Mix that was actually dog food because food was really scarce. And in the cup holders, we had 2 jars. One jar had a chrysalis in it, and one had like a little seedling. And all of a sudden, supernaturally, the seedling blossomed into a big purple flower, and then the butterfly came out of the chrysalis and became a super enlarged butterfly. The flower was huge. The jar could barely contain it. And we went under a bridge, and I stopped the truck, and I think it was my husband driving the truck, stopped the truck, and we got out and we heard all this rejoicing. I think that's playing out right now. All right. Why do I say that? I think that deals with the Canadian truckers. Because that would make sense. They're going to disrupt the supply chain. I was riding in a truck. They're truckers. God likes to have the play on words there. And also, I think this is going to be like a supernatural, really quick recovery. I think this is going to provide that. So it's interesting. We're going to have to see how this plays out. But I wouldn't doubt that that's what God is leading to. I also kind of think that maybe God is also tying in that Marie Antoinette dream I had just a couple weeks ago or last week. because she was riding down the streets with a sword in her hand, yelling off with her heads, but she looked like Paul Revere. And Paul Revere was tied to the American Revolution. She was tied to the French Revolution. And I feel like God is saying that revolution is happening right now. It just looks very different. And with her saying off with their heads, you know, this revolution is going to not physically cut off the heads of the leaders, but they're cutting off the head of the snake, okay? In a hyperbole or whatever, metaphor, okay? The heads that are leading whatever's going on is going to be cut off. And we're already seeing the Canadian leader go into hiding. So we're kind of seeing that play out. So I think God is pulling some of those dreams together prophetically and revealing it. All right, so so I'm going to share, like, do I share this dream or do I not share this dream? I'm not going to share this dream because I feel like God is stopping me here. There's a dream that that I interpreted for somebody, and it was definitely one of those dreams you're like, ooh, that looks bad, you know, oh, please let that be a cupbearer dream and not a baker dream type of situation because it looked bad. But it turned out to be a huge blessing. And I figured this was going to be a financial blessing and an anointing. And it sure enough was. But I'm not going to share that right now. I feel like God is saying hold the reins on that. And I'm going to share that another time. But prophetic dreams exist. God is talking to you today. He is giving you love messages. He is giving you warnings so that your heart can be at peace and you can accept what's coming, knowing that His hand is on it. And He is also giving you national level dreams, I bet, that is going to open your eyes to see what's happening in the world, so that you can anticipate. Because it is a lot like if you have a good gift giver in your life and you know that they're going to give you a gift and you know it's going to be good, but you don't know what it is, and you are anticipating opening it up to see the gift. It feels like that. And it's so great to have that feeling all the time. Just knowing that God is such a good gift giver, and He's wanting to guide you and keep your heart at peace. And He sends dreams to do just that. All right, so that is going to be it today. Go in His shalom.